Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, Twitch chat. Welcome back to Let Us Play. I'm your host, Father Evan. It's good to be back with y'all today. Good to see you, Bad Roxy. Good to see you, Kit. Good to see you, Quacksplat. Good to see you, Inca. Bad Roxy, congratulations. You've won the crown of Firstendom. A crown of the MASH, the Monster MASH. But I don't want to get matched for copyright, so that's as much of that joke as I'm going to do. And I'm glad to see y'all can still count so perfectly. Tours, Fern. It's very Friday, Thursday. Oh, that's not a number. 11d6. Yep. Peak counting skills. I love y'all. So my mother sent me something for the wheel. This is, I'm going to butcher this pronunciation, so I apologize, but it's Li Hing Mui. It is a sour, salty, sweet, dried plum. Hey, Greg. Apparently it's really big in China and Japan and Hawaii, actually. And what's really interesting is I was looking this up. This is actually the origin of two foods in Mexico. Gale would be all of those. I actually think these are going to be pretty good. I added them to the wheel preemptively, but we'll see. But if you like chamoy, the sauce from Mexico, it started out from this, actually, as did, was it saltine? I forget the other thing. Anyway, let's try this out. They look like rocks. Ooh. It smells very good. Kind of a dried white plum. It has the pit. Oh, that is very salty. Oh. That's like soy sauce salty. Oh. Does not have to be bad to be on the wheel. Those are good. It's a lot of flavors. That was a lot of salt, though. That is like aggressive. That is like I said, soy sauce level of salt. So yeah, go pick up some traveling plums. Oh, speaking of a wheel spin. Well, let's get into the game first. No, don't you go to sleep just because you've been sitting there. Anyway, I realized we forgot to go back to Freeze Easy Peak and Bubble Gloop Swamp to get the last two jiggies, so we'll have to do that after we're done with the mansion. All right, let's see what that candy is. I don't know if I have many of those left. My candy drawer smells like flowers now thanks to the violet candy. Do you know you'd be happy to pick one? I'm sure you would. Next time will be the last. It's true, you cannot pick the pickleball because the pickleball does not exist. I can't roast it because my mouth is glued shut. Why can you fly here? Is it literally just for this one up? Oh, the chili in this is not very high quality. Ah. Let's turn the game up slightly. And we'll do a rotata. Rotata! I had the 12:10 Mass today, so you can actually watch the live stream and watch my full homily. But the story of the gospel today is the leper being healed in Mark's gospel. And in it, Jesus heals this guy, and it's not just a physical healing; it's a wholeness healing. He wants him not just to be completely himself, but completely be a part of community. And this is highlighted in a couple of ways. One, Jesus touches him. You know, imagine being a leper and going months without any physical contact with anyone. And two, he hasn't followed the rules of like, hey, go talk to the priests, because that would allow him to be reintegrated into the community again. Yeah, no, that's okay, Ghost. Whoa, Stella! You need to play. Oh, have you not played this? You should play this. It's a very fun game. Thoroughly recommend. It's probably... This and Tui, its sequel, are really some of the best 3D collectathon platformers. No, that's okay. I'm leaving. Benui, benui. Arbitrary one-way gate. Have I played Cavern of Dreams? I don't think I've heard of Cavern of Dreams. So that would be no. It's an indie game made in the style of N64 games. Why have I not heard of this? Hey, Chizo. Why can't I cascade my windows anymore? All I can do is tile and split. Because Windows 11. The other joke is that you can't cascade your windows because you don't have anything of lower CMC in your deck to cascade into. Magic jokes. Hey, little cheesy. Magic, 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 magic. Look, To at least 2 of you in chat, that was mildly funny. There we go. Now, how does an egg make flowers appear in a flower pot? Why, it's fertilizer, of course. The rude emote. Peter asked me, why do you need rude emote? How often do you say it? It's like, well, actually. It's working on my end.
Thank you.
How odd. Purple site. Yeah, purple side is definitely not held together with chewing gum and hopes. No! I never fell. I don't know what you're talking about. Am I tweaking or did we play this like a year ago? We did play this like a year ago. You are not tweaking. At least not because of that. But we only played it one time. And that's because at the time the system was like glitching. What's the inspo for return? It's on the N64 Switch Online stuff. Debut? No, the system running it was having a hard time when I did the last year's attempt. And it would like stutter and drop frames in weird ways. Whoop. Okay, just one Jinjo left. That's pretty good. Gotta make the church, gotta make the church, gotta make the church. I'm late for work! Ow. Ow, stop it! Nope, wrong thing. Ah, camera. Could actually use a restock on my eggs, so. I didn't even have control. This church only has 4 pews. This is not a very large congregation. I hope they have some very generous benefactors, because they're not getting it from a depth of benefactors. Also, what kind of organ only has 2 foot pedals? And if you're like, oh, it's a piano, there are pipes up above. Mozart plays his organ with ease. See, it's an organ. What if you could follow him on the keys? Fortunately, you don't have to wait until he's finished. Not bad, bear, but now watch me. Copy this tune and amazed I'll be. I'm tone deaf. I don't know what note that is. Sorry, Chad. I gotta watch Mozart pretty closely. Your music skills are mighty fine, so take this golden piece of mine. It's from a game of what this is, but all I can remember is Bop It. I mean, Simon Says. But yeah, Bop It, Twist It. Where's the... Aha. Like, I know there's a flight pad to get to the rafters. Did a company ever make a physical Simon Says? Yeah, it's been a physical toy since, like, the 70s. Because it's very easy to program and make. You just need 4 pieces of plastic. They're colored differently with LEDs underneath them. A very simple board. You got it for Christmas? Nice. Like this Christmas or like a while ago Christmas? This Christmas at a work. Oh, at a work party. That makes sense. Oh, this golden feather. Okay, I think that's everything inside here. So. Open that up for easy access. I know I heard boots. There they are. Oh no! I cannot jump up high enough. That didn't slip off there. I don't know what you're talking about. I have a feeling this will be easier as a pumpkin. Oh, wrong button. Are you ready for the cutest transformation in this game? No, talk to your friend. Look, we're a pumpkin. No, Mumbo, you can't make us into soup. We're your friends. Friends don't make friends into soup. Mumbo gonna eat. No! Where's champagne? Right here. My boss, Father Dave, asked about it the other day. He's like, why do you have a baby seal on your desk? It's like, I got that from Busted Halo Secret Santa. He's like, oh, right! We're there for it. You gonna bite your baby? I recommend not. Why? Our parents, what do I know? So I believe this is the downspout. Yeah, so you gotta fall to get that, Jiggy. I love the boing sound. Boing, 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 boing. No, leave me alone, I'm just a pumpkin. Just wanna do pumpkin things. Go to pumpkin school. Okay, so I gotta get into there, because that's where the, there's like a ramp. Hey, KMX. Doing good, just making our way around Mad Monster Mansion. Oh, you haven't played this all the way through? That genuinely surprises me. But I think you should. It's fun. Always get distracted. That's a mood. I got distracted and then absolutely just blinded by something today. Hey, look at that. One of my favorite bands, Streetlight Manifesto, posted a new single on Spotify, and so I started to listen to it, and it's like, this doesn't sound like Streetlight Manifesto. Turns out it's AI garbage that someone has uploaded under the name of Streetlight. And it's like, oh, great. Oh, nice. Oh, never mind. Not nice. Yeah. Yeah, profoundly not nice, actually. I heard AI garbage. What's good? People are now making garbage AI songs and uploading them under the name of other artists on Spotify, which I don't entirely get what the end game is, because it's not like they can claim the revenue. Nothing new. Bet. Yeah. Just new stupid ways of bad things. Do. Just more slop, slop, and slop. Yeah. Yeah, maybe there must be some way, because otherwise what would be the end game? Feeding each other slop to make... They are, actually. Like, that's why a lot of visual AI stuff is turning yellow, is because it's training itself on each other's things. AI polish stuff? Nah. Okay, somewhere we're missing, like, a few notes and a yellow Jinjo, and that is it. And I think it's this window here. Maybe not. Hardware replacement. So do you have to, like, sign... I hate that the candles can hurt you. No, but I think K-Max is in the slop mines physically. And yeah, well, yeah, no, I get that. But I was going to make a joke about, do you have to sign, like, some sort of liability waiver when you get your hands on a stick of RAM? Just because of how much it costs now. Lurk! Hey, thank you, one and only. Hope you have a good day. Trades we have are infinitely more expensive than a stick of RAM. That makes sense. But I had to make a RAM is expensive joke. I actually have a 32 gig stick of RAM of DDR5 lying around that I've been thinking of putting on eBay. Just because, why not? Oh, here's a window I didn't go through. Hey, look, the last notes we didn't have, and I hear the Jinjo. Yeah. There we go. We finished Mad Monster Mansion, and I'm sure it's on world record pace. No one look it up. You long for a 4-day work week? I mean, I have a 6-day work week, so that sounds really amazing. Now, admittedly, my life and my work is very different. I realize I need to go back in there. Because we have to go back out as Pumpkin. Here's a remix that even Grant Kirkhope likes. Wow. Grant Kirkhope is so funny in interviews, in my opinion. No! Because we have to leave his pumpkin so we can get into the mausoleum so that we can raise the water level so we can get into Rusty Bucket Bay. This game has layers. I actually really like how Gruntilda's mansion is designed and makes you kind of utilize spaces in order to get into the next full level. Heavy layers, teddy bear picnic. Gonna go with probably not, but what's up, Mumbo? Watch this, Mumbo. Where's that ghost? Get down here! Fight me! Does anyone remember what the Grunty switch opened? Because I was not paying attention. Yeah, I guess I'll know it when I see it. Or maybe that's just one of the few jiggies we won't get. I'm more concerned with getting all of the notes, because all the notes enables you some really nice bonuses right at the very end before the final boss. This is a spot I really don't mind using the rewind function. Because if you fall, it's just game over and you gotta go all the way back into Mad Monster Mansion to become a pumpkin again. Oh, sup, Cheeto? Cheeto, the spellbook kid. You have found magic cheats I have for you. Hey, book brain, what did you say? You better not give my spells away. Which lost book finders bad, but spell they get. We sure do, bag lady. Come on, book boy. Give us the spells. Only one spell Cheeto can tell. Enter the code. Red feathers on the sandcastle floor in Treasure Trove Cove. World. Help you it will. Thanks, Mr. Cheeto. Hidden in lair other spell books are. Them you should find. And next world is the hardest yet. And you will fail. On that I'll bet. I don't even remember if that was the original voice, but that's what I feel like today. Anyway, if you do that, there's a cheat code for feathers. Red feathers, yellow feathers, and eggs. And you can, I think you can activate them. Yeah, I'll just die. Even if you haven't talked to Cheeto. Oh, you don't have to go all the way back. Okay. But still, it's... falling there's obnoxious. Yes, yes. Mumbo magic getting weak. I think I remember where the Mad Monster Mansion bonus Jiggy is. I believe it is on top of... Oh, right. It's in the Witch's Eye. The best way to get there is to fly. Okay, so getting 8 there means that we actually... Wow, I didn't realize how close to the end of the game we are. Because there's, Rusty Bucket Bay and, Tick-Tock Woods. Or Click-Clock Woods. Click-Clock. Tick-Tock? Click-Clock? One of those. It's full of time stuff. No, I don't want to. Can't race you right now because we need the shoes. Get here in the village. Or no, they're to the other side of the start. They're by the tree. This whole soundtrack is great, but I especially love Freeze Easy Peaks track. I think it's really good. Where are my Go Fast shoes? I know they exist. Ow. Okay, they're not there. Are they up here near the start? Are they under one of these nerds? Do I have to take them out? Nope. Ah! Actually. Look for a pair of tennis shoes that are just walking in place. Saint Anthony, can you help? I don't know if anyone's ever asked you for finding something digital before, but maybe a file. I can see them asking for a lost file. I thought you needed the shoes for this. Maybe you don't. Are they in Waz's cave? Nope. First! I believe you're the first person to say first in chat, but you are not. You do not have the crown of firstendom, but good to see you, Breaker. Oh, they just appear when you start the race. Here I am scouring the entire level for something that wouldn't even spawn in until I said yes. I'm not tilting out, you're tilting out. Yo, you cheater! He rubber banded just at the ending. He gets these arbitrary speed boosts. See? Look at that. He cheats. He cheats. How does he speed up going uphill? Oh, I just missed that one. What if I don't pass him until later? Just mess with his AI that way. That seems to be the way. Paladin butter. Oh, I lost my other medal. Oh, I have to look at my kids for presents. Hey, I already did that for you, because Banjo and Kazooie are better surrogate parents than you. Okay, let's go become a crocodile again. You're not my mummy. Nope, that's not the way. Ow. Ow! This is the way. Then after this, we can go and get into Rusty Bucket Bay and continue the main adventure. Unfortunately, we can leave this world simply as a crocodile. We don't have to come all the way here, just go back to the end. Just leave as a crocodile. Just walk our way up and be like, okay, bye. I'm Mr. Vile. Yeah. Oh, do I have to restart the whole thing? That's obnoxious. Yeah, I have to restart from level 1. Do all 3 levels again. Gotta lock in. Gotta eat the yumblies. What's a yumbly? I don't know, but it's gotta eat it. You only win easy game. Now we play harder game. Eat reds, avoid yellows. As long as I just stay a little ahead of him, I don't really care about actual numbers. Well, that said, we did quite well this round. This is the one where it switches all the time, and it's really obnoxious, and it makes you have to pause and get sick. I was eating that one. In fact, I'm willing to rewind on that one, because I distinctly disagree with what the game said. We did it! Whew. Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to skip your dialogue, but you were probably just cranky. Overall, the house tougher challenge you, Greedy, not scared. You must win next 3 games to win 3 extra lives. No, I'm good. I got maximum lives. Hey, you're the baddest croc in town. That's why you just lost. Onward to adventure! I need your honeycomb. The scariest part of traversing this castle is this section. It's all swimming and constantly watching your oxygen meter go down. It's stressful. have your pair? I do! That's not very far away, but that gets you skipping the swimming, I guess. Look, it's a global warming button. It makes the water rise. Is that too soon? Not soon enough. I don't remember what's at the end of this tunnel. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I don't want your honey. No, no, no. Oh, I always get it mixed up. I always want the yellow glass, the one you break. No, it's actually the clear one. Looking at a bad Genesis game for the future. I initially panicked when I saw the NES version price. Thankfully, I'm looking at Genesis version. But there you go. What's the bad game? I actually ran into a problem that I have never encountered before. One of my cartridges wouldn't work, and when I opened it up, there were broken traces. Wayne's World. Oh dear. Yeah, it's on my Street Fighter 2 cartridge. Like a bug got in there and died on the PCB, but what's even weirder is that that's not where the broken traces were. So I don't know what happened. And there are repair companies out there, I did look into it, but the cost to repair a SNES cartridge like that is about the same as to just buy this game again. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, this cartridge was dirty when I got it, like, at the outside, so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's something inside already corroding it, but it's still unfortunate. Get out of the acid! Then look at book repair prices. Oh, that's a whole nother thing. But like, yeah, there's a lot more sentimental value to a family Bible than there is, especially if it's one with like the genealogy written in it, than, you know, a Street Fighter 2 cartridge. But yeah, bookbinding is, especially a repair job, not cheap. I actually have some... I don't have books to be repaired, but I have loose leaf books. Like, I bought them unbound, partially because I didn't realize that at the time. It was from an Italian catalog is my excuse. I did not know Foglio Sciolto. I thought it meant paperback, not loose folio. So that's on me. Get it repaired soon, TM. Yeah, it's a mood. Ow! No! Stop it! Fine, I'll leave you alone. You win this round. In my defense, my Italian has always been focused on food. That said, I would actually like to look through these manuscripts at some point because they're pretty cool, but loose leaf it can be a pain. Also, some of them aren't fully cut, which is weird. I'll need to get the yellow Jinjo down there eventually, but... right now, it's not that eventually. Camera? Keeps whipping around weirdly. Oh, early 3D platformers when we weren't really sure what a camera should or should not be doing. I disagree. I was... There we go. Been lurking at the nostalgia's going good. Got to a new world here. Rusty Bucket Bay. It's only mildly frustrating. Rusty Bucket Bay is definitely where the difficulty just, like, spikes. Ow. I don't want to deal with you guys. No, quit bullying me. I don't even go to this school. I love the way these gremlins go ahoy. It's so funny. Because they're sailors. Okay, that was just for the blue Jinjo, which is a fifth of a Jiggy, so I guess it's worth it. Guess let's go. That was the camera. Jinjo! I guess let's go get that yellow Jinjo now. So we gotta go back this way anyway, because it's time to get aboard the SS Rusty. Or... No! No! Stop that! I love the use of the industrial noises as instruments. Not sure why that guy exploded, but, you know. It means we don't have to deal with him. Sure. What would you call an evil life preserver? A life unreserver? Wait, I know the code. 23 is number 1. A life deserter. That's good. That's... Inka's got it figured out. Duh. You're not evil. Oh, look, it's the kitchen. This is a huge stove. And there's another one? Also, the fridge is massive. Wait, are we just really small? Compared to God, yes, we are quite small. This is true. Well, yes, but also maybe no, because God does not have size. Also good to see Crimsonite. Crimsonite has redeemed a father joke. Whoop. Sorry, I'm a little rusty at these. That's a free one. So we're in Rusty Bucket Bay. Need to get my cheat sheet. Can't remember any off the top of my head. So it's 312111. I need a new cheat sheet. You know, Crimson, if you're ever looking for new work, I recommend getting to the line of selling stoves. You can offer a range of hot products. That joke was half-baked. Yeah. He's cooked, chat. I'm cooked most days. You're using your range right now. I think you should let it go free. He has more skill at what he does. Aye. I'm trying to make a we're on a rolling pin joke here, and it's just not working. I suppose I should walk on my puns better. Hey, JM. Pander to chat. Drop the TNT. So that we can go do the one of 2 boss fights in this game. You don't need to be spoon-fed. No, lurking is great. I love lurkers. I should put the lurker-friendly tag on my channel. Yeah, jails. I need more puns. Chop, chop. I'm trying to get all fired up. But I think I'm not really cooking with gas right now. Okay, no more father jokes for you today, chat. You've had too many. I'm cutting you off. Okay, I need to... Nope, I keep going back too early. You know, you slice and we're done. Oh, that is why we can't have nice things. Your mother should have never given you so much sugar. Oh, baloney. This jump is so obnoxious. Especially because it looks like you sometimes almost make it, but you don't. You can't have to hydrate to 5K? Wow. No. She wants to sip her coffee. Well, coffee's not gonna hydrate. You couldn't get her to actual water. Coffee still hydrates very slightly. Yeah, but it doesn't hydrate nearly as well as, you know, water. Gonna want as many eggs as we can gather for this boss fight. That or gold feathers, both work. I think we have a decent amount of gold feathers. Extra is always good. Who dares enter Boss Boombox's hold? No, wrong. That. You know, I don't think puns are really all they're cracked up to be. They're not that good of a yoke. Yep. Activated and accidentally deactivated it. Oh, you splintered me. Don't want to take a shellacking. Take a shellacking from a shillelagh. Okay, finally we can enter the bowels of the ship. Welcome to the least fun room in the entire game! It's full of instant death traps and moving parts. Like that, I went too late. I don't think I need that Mumbo token, so I'm not gonna bother. This reminds me of Super Mario 64. I mean, if I can talk, the very same era, so. Although I think Banjo-Kazooie does a lot of stuff better than Mario 64, but there are some things Mario 64 does better. Like I do think movement tech's a bit better in 64, and the camera. But to be fair, in the 64's case, Mario 64, it was a launch title, first time 3D, like. Shoot, I forgot this has a timer. Nope. Camera, please. This is gonna be close, to be honest. Ten seconds. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it because I gotta get over the back of the ship, swim down. Yep. Let's see. It's instant death. Okay, we're gonna come back to this point. And we're just gonna let the timer run down and then restart it. Yeah, I think they're... I'm trying to remember the name of it, but there's the, like, clock level in 64 as well that this is very similar to. Battle platforms are also like Bowser. Yeah, they are a lot like Bowser levels. Okay, this should actually make it easier in some ways. So we have to press this button down. But getting out from this side is easier than the other because we don't have to go up and over. We just jump over this as a pit. We're a full 15 seconds ahead of where we were the first time. Got it. Okay, so we're missing one Jinjo and one... Okay, there's... Right, I gotta swim in that grate. I think that's where we gotta go next. Okay, there's their last Jinjo. Which is unfortunate. Jiggy placement, but... Okay, so... We're missing 12 notes and 1 Jiggy. Where could those be? probably somewhere on the ship. See, I know a lot of these levels pretty well because I played this a lot as a kid, but I don't know Rusty Bucket and TikTok Woods as well. You love underwater game music? It can be so good. It's great in Donkey Kong Country where it's like super chill music in some of the most stressful levels. Ow, jerk. Oh, I'm out of golden feathers. I can't do the thing. Okay, there's no door in this smokestack. Aha! A previously undiscovered porthole. It's a really weird place for the command deck to be on a ship of this size. Did you know, by the way, chat, that you can book passage on cargo vessels? A lot of them have guest space for like families and things, but they'll also rent it out. And in some cases, it can be a decently cheap way to cross an ocean. It takes a while. I just found it interesting. Okay, so that's how you get that Mumbo token. Can I do that with the other bridges? Man, can you imagine working at a dock like this and your boss be like, ah, you should open that bridge, and it's like, you gotta have a toll of eggs on you? You just gotta keep eggs in your pocket in case your boss is like, oh, we need this open to get the package delivered. Okay, no, it's just that one, it seems. Although we do have this one last. Want to check. Although I think I just remembered where it is. Also, did we hit the grunty switch? Did we see the grunty switch? Yeah, we hit the grunty switch. I remember noticing the cutscene, like, outside where it was, like, on a ledge. Chat, pray for your streamer's memories. Hey, Mithril. Yep, I remembered what it is. We gotta get the anchor off of this dolphin. Now, how do we do that? You always hold your breath underwater? Or wait, during underwater scenes? Nice. Okay, so usually the game has very obvious buttons. Good thing it wasn't long, yeah. Well, and it's also probably a good thing you're not swimming in this oil-filled water where your oxygen only lasts half as long. Right, this was the kitchen. This was the, like, stateroom. This was this random space, just this cargo hold. It's definitely not down there, because that's just the boss arena. So it must be back down in the hold down here, I guess. Or not the hold, the, like, mechanical section. I thought that looked honeycomb-shaped. I might, but I probably won't. But I might go get the rest of the honeycomb pieces off screen. Okay, those are for the propellers. Smombo token. I may have to look this up off screen. And we'll do it next week. I hate these blades. They have really weird boxes and shapes and things. Early 3D. Everyone was figuring it out. Is there another pair of these angry things I haven't been down? I went down that one, that's the kitchen. We went down this midship one. Let's go down the aft one, I guess. Let's go through this window. I don't remember what was here. Right, this is the bunk room. I'll go with this. Like, I mean, I genuinely love this game, but this level in particular feels very big. Like, in a very impressive way for its era. Boat lingo. Well, you gotta go to the leeward side of the stern. So you can keel haul the jib. Welcome to sailing, where we're gonna have a lots of words and pronounce them in no relation to how they're spelled. Boatswain? No, that's bosun. Mainsail? No, it's mainsail. How do we measure our speed? Literal knots. We have tied knots into a rope. We just kind of drag it along and count and hope for the best. Yep, missing. The British are masters of the English language. It'd be nice if they spoke it for once. Nope. No, I didn't want that. Problem of using an analog stick instead of the C buttons is sometimes it gets a little... It wants to participate in a democratic fashion in deciding what I am trying to do with the C buttons, which is not, in fact, a helpful addition to the conversation. Thought I was going after... I'm kind of just going all over the place, trying to find a space I haven't been to inside in order to raise the anchor. Which you would think might be somewhere near the bow where the anchor is. Like, say, this control room. But it is, in fact, not in the control room near the anchor. So I think I'm just gonna have to look that one up online and figure it out. I'm gonna look it up online and it's gonna just feel incredibly obvious. But we're also missing a few notes here. We're still missing 8 notes. Does that make it an 8th note? I don't know. We're just gonna leave it there for today, I think. We'll come back next week to figure it out. So, thanks so much for tuning in to Let Us Play. I've been your host, Father Evan. It's been good to be with y'all today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Join us again on Monday for more Birth by Sleep. Tuesday, finishing in his time. Monday, we're probably also going to be finishing Birth by Sleep. Minecraft on Wednesday. Might be building a library. And then Thursday, we're going to keep doing this and potentially even finish it next week. Fingers crossed. I think we can, because we just got Click Clock Woods and then the last level. And we don't have to 100% Click Clock Woods to beat it, so we'll see. We'll play it by ear. But yes, thank you to everyone who's liked, followed, subscribed, given bits, all that good jazz. Thank you to all the lurkers, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Let's see who's live that we can raid into. Never get gonna send you on over to Signal and Noise Media. You may not recognize the name, but you might recognize the person. Well, we have rated him before. He used to be Mark Liberto. I forget how. Nice guy. He's playing Diablo 4. Raid call is Father Raid, but spam any emotes you got. Go give him some love, and hope you have a great rest of your day and a great weekend. Take care. God bless.